NL East favorites. 2-5 after 7 games, unable to find consistent offense and failing to play sound defense. Tonight they look to get behind Steven Strasburg and pick up a much-needed win in Game 2 from Boston.
Game 2 of the series from Fenway Park. Time to sort of scan the ticket, come on in and just play another ball game. And don't worry about what has already happened if you're a Nats fan. Wally, named after the Green Monster, the Red Sox mascot, interacting, having a great time with the kids out there on the concourse. And for Washington, time to get things going here in Boston in Game 2. And that, Pete, great thing about baseball, there's always a game the next day. So what's the approach from what you've seen from these guys down in the clubhouse and maybe on the field during BP?
They're still very confident, but I have a message for Nats fans and maybe a few of the players, and it's right out of Aaron Rodgers' book, Relax. R-E-L-A-X. Relax. It's April 14th. This is going to be a good team. They're just not playing well right now. And hopefully it starts tonight. And even if they lose 10-0 tonight, it's still early, so relax.
Yeah. And there's a game tomorrow afternoon, too. Well, Steven Strasburg. First time out, it was the much-heralded Strasburg-Matt Harvey matchup. Didn't quite turn out that way, but Steven might have pitched better than the numbers indicate because he had some tough defense behind him that day.
Tough defense, choppers off the plate, bloopers fell, everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Strasburg. It's his job as a number one or a former number one starter to turn the whole thing around today, and hopefully he can pitch like he did last time here at Fenway Park 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Second highest game strikeout total in his career, and he only went 6 innings that night, but he sure got that weekend off to a great start.
Well, anytime he's throwing all 3 pitches in the strike zone, 4 strikes, he's tough to hit. So hopefully today, for me, the key is a changeup. He only threw 5 or 6 changeups his first start. So when he floats that thing in for strike 1 and then throws the wipeout changeup for strike 2, that's when Steven Strasburg is Steven Strasburg, and if this makes any sense, he needs to be Steven Strasburg tonight.
Yeah, it does. I think that's a great identity thing to pursue. By the way, Kevin Youkilis, that was the last strikeout. He got tossed after that one. That's how frustrated Strasburg had the Red Sox that night. We're going to take a step back in time tonight because 10 years ago tonight, President Bush and guys like Levon and Brian Schneider and Vinny Castilla and Chad Cordero got Nats history, at least at home, off to a great start. I'll look back to the opener at RFK straight ahead.
It's a day game tomorrow. And they have amazing tradition around here. Now, ours isn't quite that long, but you can get all tuned into what's happened with the Nationals since '05. National Pastime Baseball's return to Washington after Nats Extra tonight. The hour-long special celebrates 10 years in D.C. Interviews with Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Lerner, former Mayor Anthony Williams, longtime PA announcer Charlie Brotman, Washington Post columnist Tom Boswell, and many others. That premieres tonight after Nats Extra and re-airs tomorrow at 5 p.m. only on Masson. Well, April 14th, 2005, Levan Hernandez would take the mound. President Bush was there. Frank Robinson. Vinny Castillo would hit a home run against the Diamondbacks. The Nats had been on the road for a week. Chad Cordero got the last out. Levan Hernandez had taken a one-hitter into the ninth inning, and what a special night for baseball it was. Brian Schneider on the receiving end. The Nats got off to a great start. First place, 50-31, but then they went just 31-50 the rest of the way. So the all-time record, still a bit of a climb to get back to 500 and a winning record, but the last 4 years have certainly gotten the Nats on the road to doing that with 2 divisional championships. Ryan Zimmerman's seen it all. He was playing at Virginia. He was a Nat by the end of '05. He's been a revelation at first base, and that bat's starting to come alive for Gentleman Zim as well. Bank for the Achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. St. Charles River, Fenway Park, just off the river here. It's a cool evening, cloudy but quite pleasant. It'll be 63 degrees when first pitch is thrown in a couple of moments. Not much of a breeze to consider now. Dry conditions and cloudy skies. Really a much better day than was forecast for this Tuesday just a couple of days ago. The Tony Conigliaro Award, voted on by a 12-person panel, presented annually to a big league player who has overcome adversity through the attributes of spirit, determination, and courage that were trademarks of Tony C., who now has been gone for 25 years. That's hard to believe. What a great honor for Wilson Ramos. That was announced before the season started, and here are the Nats in Boston, so he could do that in front of a Fenway crowd. A special moment indeed. The Nats are last in baseball out of 30 teams, hitting a .185. Only the Phillies have scored fewer runs in the league. Danny Espinosa jacked one out of here yesterday. He gets another start in the number 8 spot. He's got a couple of hits, a homer, 2 RBIs. And you might see Michael A. Taylor has been bumped down to the bottom of the lineup. Yunel Escobar, 6-game hitting streak with 8 base hits, is the leadoff guy. Everybody else kind of bumped ahead with Ryan Zimmerman now the cleanup man. This is Justin Masterson. Last time the Nats saw him, he was a Cleveland Indian.
Sorry for that giggle every time I see Espinosa's headshot. I just can't help it. Here in the win Thursday night at Philly, his first start of the year, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits in 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks for Masterson. 4 of his 6 innings pitched were perfect. So 2-seam fastball. He's a 3/4 release guy. His fastball runs all over the place, but his velocity's down. If you remember when he was in Cleveland, he was a mid-90s guy. His fastball this year averaging just 87 miles an hour.
First pitch at 6:10. And ball 1. Yunel Escobar leads things off. He's had 14 career at-bats against Masterson because of his time in the American League. Escobar, a base hit last time, at least first time yesterday, last game. He went 1 for 4, and he's hitting .296, 8 hits and 27 at-bats. All 8 of those hits, as I mentioned, in the last 6 games after he went hitless on opening day. So 3 for 14 career with an RBI against the big right-hander, and that's well hit into left. 7-game streak for Yunel Escobar. And FP, he'll be intriguing in that leadoff spot because he works the count and really makes pitchers work hard to get him out.
He does, and he's locked in right now. Talking to Rick Shue before the game, he said he's one of the hardest working Nats in the cage, just honing his craft every single day and busting it, and you can see the results on the field. Not easy to drop a base hit in the left field here at Fenway Park. Not a lot of room, and there goes the no-hitter with a 7-game hitting streak.
Yeah, 9 hits over those 7 games, and here's Jason Worth. Way inside, almost hit him. That ball running all over the place from the 30-year-old right-hander. Worth's debut yesterday, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He has a career RBI against Masterson, 0 for 6 in the pitcher-hitter matchup. 4 Nationals in the lineup tonight have faced Masterson. The first 2, and then Zimmerman with Desmond. He's 61 and 72 career. No record, 2 games, 1 start against the Nats with a 2.08 ERA. And Worth hits it well out to left center, and that ball is caught by Mookie Betts, who might already be the American League Player of the Week. He is killing the Nats here.
Well, some kind of outfielder. He robbed Bryce Harper of a home run in the first inning yesterday, and now he robs Jason Worth with at least a double. I mean, you never know when the ball kicks around left center field here, especially when he had such a direct route to it. That ball gets by Betts. It's 1-0 Nats, and Worth standing on third. Nice play.
Well, that's easily Jason's best AB so far. Here's Bryce Harper. As FP mentioned, robbed first time up yesterday. Goes up hacking, facing Masterson for the first time.
The difference between a guy 3/4 throwing 95 and having that run versus 87 to 90 is just light years for a hitter. It's hard to put into words, but you have so much more time to make a decision. And that late movement is so much more crisp when it's mid-90s than it's low 80s or upper 80s.
Not to mention the physical presence of Justin Masterson, who's listed at 6'6", 260. Get this guy 60 feet away from you, standing up on top of that hill. Very imposing. Bryce, 6 hits, 27 at bats. Curveball came around the outside edge, but stayed out there. They had a lot of break for a slider.
Yeah, he's got one that's a big sweeper and one that's kind of late and tight. So yeah, it really has 2 different kinds of sliders.
Is that the one they used to kind of call a slurve?
Yeah.
So Bryce bailing and hitting on a play to the left side. Crew chief adds the plate tonight, Jim Reynolds. Paul Schreiber, Clint Fagan, Manny Gonzalez. First, second, and third. Outfield around to the right a bit for Bryce. And the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand. That's a balk anyway. So Escobar just is given second base. Well, when's the last time you saw something like that?
Well, yesterday, Whatever could happen did happen. And Justin Masterson forgot to hang out of the baseball. Or maybe that was his sneaky move to first, but either way, it didn't work.
Hey, whatever it takes to get a runner into scoring position these days.
Yeah, I like it.
2-2. And Bryce looks at that one well outside. Bryce has walked 3 times. So on base 9 times in his first 7 games of the year. And he saw that breaking ball coming back and just got some wood on it to stay alive.
Well, the reason he checked his swing is he thought that slider was going to come all the way back. And when he realized it wasn't sliding like he thought it was, he tried to stop.
Way away. Only 1 pitch, the first one, anywhere near the middle of the plate. Harper jammed at that time, and he fights it off.
I mean, early returns, if you really want me to analyze Justin Masterson, he looks like a comfortable at-bat for the Nats right now. Nothing really sharp. Fastball not moving a whole lot. Slider not sliding a whole lot. Maybe the offense gets right tonight. Let's see.
Red Sox signed him as a free agent back in December. He was here in 08 and 9. Harper couldn't stop on a nasty breaking ball, and he's done. Manny Gonzalez at third, punching him out on the appeal. 2 down.
So the defense for the Red Sox behind Masterson tonight. Ramirez, Betts, Nava the outfield. Holt, Sandoval left side. Pedroia, Napoli right side. And Ryan Hannigan behind the plate. And we've seen enough of Mookie. We don't need to show him anymore.
Hit it somewhere else. Ryan Zimmerman hit one out of here straight away center. A little outside. We mentioned yesterday Fenway's capacity at night bigger. Right above that 17-foot wall, they allow fans to sit there for night games. So the capacity tonight, 37,673, about 400 more than it is for day games. And Ryan just about put one in there yesterday. It's a pretty good take on a breaking ball that looked good. Count goes to 2-0. Hannigan set out outside. It missed on the other side.
Ryan doesn't like to swing 3-0, but when you're having trouble pushing runs across the plate and you're struggling offensively, I say green light all the way right here. Why not?
I'm with you. Get center cut heater in this ballpark.
Put one over the monster.
Have at it. That one had a little run. Took a little bit off too. It was 86. Inside edge with the breaker.
It was Ryan's mom's birthday yesterday too, besides his wife, so the home run had the double present. I said, if I miss those birthdays, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you're on the road. You better hit a homer. Zimmerman off to the right side, up on the roof.
Well, you saw Escobar at second base, and if you missed the game yesterday, I talked about it early. You can steal third base with 2 outs here at Fenway Park. It's tough to send a runner because of the short porch and left on a base hit to left with 2 outs. So a lot of times you don't think about stealing third with 2 outs. Here it's in play, and if it's given to the Nats, they're going to take it. Escobar did go yesterday. It was just strike 3, I believe, to Jason Worth.
Yeah, if it's hit right at the left fielder, bang, bang, and home. Good at bat by Ryan Zimmerman on a pitch up and in. And Clint Robinson had another extra base hit yesterday.
He's so close to a homer. You remember in Philadelphia, he hit it off the top of the fence. A couple feet away from his first major league tater. And then yesterday, the wind was weird here. We're talking to some of the players on how it was swirling in right center field. But a double in Philly and triple here yesterday. And he can hit, folks. We like his swing.
Big spot early right here on the inside edge. Who's hot? Brought to you by American Standard. The guy in the batter's box. 5 for his last 10. 5 for 14 overall. Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Sales event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Nats getting a lot of good long looks at Justin Masterson here, first inning. That one comes back to the outside half, strike 2.
It's a good job of staying on that slider. Didn't give up on it. Didn't come back the way he thought it would, but he spoiled it. And it's really important for Escobar at second base to work hard on his secondary lead. You see it kind of just spinning, almost backed up. But as a hitter, you can't sit around and wait with 2 strikes and see where it's going to end up. Maybe get a better one right here.
Another good at bat as the Nats grind it out here in the first inning.
A big at bat right here. Just some high fives in the dugout early, and maybe everybody in a gray uniform can take a collective exhale and, like we said in the open, relax.
Foul tip. He's gone. A lot of breaking balls from the right-hander to the left-handed power hitter. Nationals strand 2. Strasburg. Time to go to work. Start, and the Red Sox are 4th in the American League in batting average. They're 3rd in runs. They've been hitting the long ball too, and Mookie Betts has a couple already. He single-handedly controlled the early part of the game yesterday, scoring 2 runs, eventually driving in 4, taking a homer away from Bryce Harper. Mike Napoli followed by Nava and Hannigan with Holt. Some of the changes the Red Sox have in their lineup.
You see he threw the changeup 14% of the time in his first start against the Mets. He took the 6-3 loss, went 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits, 6 runs. Only 3 of those were earned. Stevens struck out 5 and walked 3 through 95 pitches. So the fastball in his first start averaged 94 miles an hour. And you see righties hitting 368, lefties hitting 333. Those numbers will go down.
Mookie Betts is 22 years of age. Out of John Overton High School in the Nashville area. Three-sport athlete of a different type. Obviously baseball. He also played hoops. And he was a great bowler in high school. In there at the knees from Strasburg. 1-1.
Great bowlers named Mookie for 1,000, Alex.
That's Red Sox. You're in Final Jeopardy if you get that one. This is a two-hopper to Ian Desmond. Nice waist-high hop for the first out.
Set the defense for the Nats tonight behind Steven Strasburg. Worth, Taylor, Harper, your outfield. Desmond Escobar left side, Espinosa Zimmerman right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate. Talked to Jason Worth before the game today, and he was saying he thought it was the toughest conditions he ever played in a day game yesterday. He said the wind was swirling. He could never get a read on which way it was going to blow. He said that the sky was so high that there was a few fly balls right to him that he lost in flight. And he said on the ball that he and Michael Taylor let drop that he just ran to a spot and didn't see the ball the whole way. And Michael Taylor said the same thing. They just lost the ball in the sky. So, you know, those guys aren't going to make excuses. And anybody that knows Jason Worth, I don't think he's ever made an excuse since he's been a National. But for him to say that, I thought before the game was very interesting.
Well, that was an interesting time of the day, of course. Late afternoon, 3:13 first pitch, and then it only got worse from there.
And on the ball to Bryce Harper, he actually called Michael Taylor off it. But when he saw Michael Taylor close, the center fielder supersedes everybody. So when Bryce saw Michael, he peeled off. Just trying to explain some of the things that went wrong yesterday after talking to the guys today.
2-1. Steven Strasburg's getting a low strike from Jim Reynolds right now, and that's a good sign because his stuff is so wicked. And FP, if he's going to throw that changeup, you want to have that low zone.
Yeah, every fastball from Steven Strasburg, if it's 95 and down, is tough to hit.
So Pedroia overall 1 for 3 against Steven. Challenge fastball. Four All-Star games, 4 Gold Gloves, MVP in 08 for the Red Sox. Almost won the batting title that year. Joe Mauer out hit him by 2 points, 328 to 326. Another challenge fastball.
Well, I like what they're doing right here. Pedroia's having trouble catching up to that 96, and they're not speeding him up with off speed. They're sticking with number 1. They're reading swings well.
Mercedes-Benz the entire AB here. And Pedroia made an offer. No swing, says Paul Schreiber at first base. Very close.
I don't think he went. We'll look at it together again. No, not even close. You see him saying no, no, no as soon as he checked his swing.
And he rips it to left. Man, that guy's a tough out. Steven had him way down in the count. And Pedroia gets his 8th hit of the year. Now you're off the stretch to face David Ortiz, one of the great DHs ever. In fact, going down right now as the best ever, the first in all of those categories. STG taking us inside some big poppy numbers.
Well, you look at the shift that they have on, and we'll show you in a second. It's not as pronounced as it was yesterday early in the game. You remember Mookie Betts stole second and third on 1 pitch, and Yunel Escobar had trouble getting to third. Well, if Dustin Pedroia decides to go right now, he won't make it to third because of where Escobar's standing.
Yeah.
Little adjustment.
So Desmond will be the guy covering. Escobar was on the other side of the infield. Off the hands and high out of play.
Steven Strasburg's got the express going here early. He's sitting at 96.
0-2.
Change up for a strike, 89. Might have got Wilson Ramos on the hand. Maybe the backswing.
Yeah, he kind of walked backwards toward Wilson. Oh,
yeah.
That is ouch. Top of those knuckles there. Rubbing the bottom of that hand. That was a changeup, 88, skipping into the mid of Wilson Ramos.
Interesting scene today in batting practice. David Ortiz, a professional hitter, his whole batting practice is the other way. He's getting his hands in that slot, hitting home runs to left, line drives to left. And Bryce Harper was standing out at shortstop while the Red Sox were hitting on the grass in the outfield. And just kind of soaking it all in, how one of the better left-handed hitters in baseball was taking his BP. Kind of had his arms folded and was just watching David Ortiz swing. And if you've watched Bryce this year early in his batting practice, he's done the same thing. You see him trying to keep his hands inside the ball. He's thinking left field all the way.
That ball he hit about 50 feet above the 379 mark yesterday here was really something out there in deep left center.
See the frustration. He got his pitch and missed it. Some conversation going on right here. Oh, maybe it's about keeping 2 feet in the batter's box. But if you swing, you can get out of the box.
Red Sox are 6 for 6. Stealing bases. Pedroia hasn't tried one yet, but he has 125 career steals. Better make it if Big Papi's in there. Want to open up first base so somebody could just pitch around him. It was a breaking ball from Strasburg in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So important that Steven Strasburg throws his off-speed pitches for strikes today. Even if his fastball is 96, these guys can hit number 1. You got to keep them off balance with number 2 and the changeup.
He jammed him severely. That's a foul ball. It hit David Ortiz in the foot. Wow.
Maybe the ankle, huh?
Right above the spike. Well, Jim Reynolds hoping things don't happen in threes, as Ramos has already taken a shot to the hand with the bat. Ortiz to the ankle.
Guy on deck did that yesterday in his last at bat. Hanley Ramirez hit one off his foot, had to come out of the game.
One on, one out. And a 2-2 pitch. Base hit. Pedroia thinking about third. He'll challenge Harper. No, he won't. Rice came up throwing on a hop to Desmond. Going to make that big round to the bag and at least make the right fielder wing it in there. First and second, 1 out. Ramirez coming.
Well, I'll tell you, that's the threat of having Bryce Harper in right field. Nice swing by Big Papi. Stumbles coming out of the box. I don't know that his ankle's all that well. He's holding it at first right now. But Brian Butterfield at third base holds Justin Pedroia just because of the reputation of Bryce Harper's arm. That's first to third with, I don't know, 9 out of 10 big league right fielders.
Hanley Ramirez, 5 for 16 career with a home run against Strasburg. It's the most familiar matchup tonight. After that is Sandoval, who's had 12 career at bats against Steven. Hanley Ramirez off to a good start. 8 hits, 3 homers. He's driven in 7 runs already. Counts even 1-1. In the air to right. Harper, plenty of room. Pedroia back to tag. Rice will wing it, but he'll hit the cutoff man, and that's the important thing. Ortiz stays at first, 2 down. And now the aforementioned Strasburg-Sandoval matchup.
This is so key. We've talked about it for about 2 years now. Steven Strasburg getting out of that first inning. He's a rhythm guy. It takes him a while to get into the flow of a game, get all his mechanics right where they need to be. And once he gets into that rhythm, look out. But it's taken him a few innings throughout the course of his career. So a big out looming right here for Steven Strasburg if he can get Sandoval.
Pablo Sandoval, 9 for his last 22. Hitting .324 with 3 batted in.
Loves the first pitch fastball.
He got the breaking ball, and Strasburg picks it off. Couple of ground balls, couple of singles, 2 stranded. Pretty good battle between the Nats and the Sox already.
The guy on the right's confused because he's got a Red Sox t-shirt underneath his Nationals jersey.
That would be both of them.
Oh, yeah, they both do. Well,
she's gone Navy, and he's got the all-red thing going.
Well, maybe that beer explains it. I don't know.
Masterson active leaders, 2.32 ground ball outs to every fly ball. Pretty good names on that list, including the great Hudson, King Felix.
You know, we got to check back with that couple because I guarantee you whoever scores first, they're going with that uni. So if the Red Sox score first, they're probably taking the Nats stuff off. And if the Nats score first, they're just going to, maybe she'll zip up a little bit and he'll button up a little bit and they'll be full Nats gear.
Maybe they're Washingtonians who live here.
Or vice versa. Well, they got more Nats gear on, so we'll give them some.
Yeah. Caps are the tiebreaker. Wilson Ramos. 89 moves him back on an 0-2 pitch. 4 for 20 with a homer, 3 RBIs to start the season. Ramos, Zimmerman, and Michael Taylor with 3 RBIs. That's to the shortstop, Brock Holt, playing over there tonight. Xander Bogaerts is about to have an MRI on his knee. He's not in the lineup tonight. He's off to a great start offensively, but he's sitting tonight.
Boy, Brock Holt kind of wished that ball over there.
All season long, when the Nats win and score 7 or more, you get 50% off regular menu online price orders at papajohns.com. Enter promo code NATS50. Participating DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of your Washington Nationals. Here's Ian Desmond. 3 for 26, batting 7th. 0 for 2 career against Masterson. Good looking pitch, didn't get the call on 88, 2-0. Nissan will track it, close. We all know pitch track loves the low strike. Breaking ball. Desmond gets a big piece of that one. Heading for the monster. It's off the scoreboard beyond Hanley Ramirez. The center fielder Mookie Betts over to cut it off. And we've seen shortstops go out there and pick up balls as well. Brock Holt was out there. Desmond a Fenway fly for a double.
The clean-shaven Ian Desmond, 3rd double of the season. And didn't get a whole lot of it, but just enough off the end of the bat on the Masterson slider. And did Hanley Ramirez have a shot at this? I don't think that hit that high up on the wall.
It didn't. He didn't get back.
He just kind of gave up on that one. Ian Desmond cruises into second base with the double.
Danny Espinosa with 1 out. That's interesting. Desmond has 4 hits, 3 doubles. The other 2 were the opposite way at home last week. There's no padding on that wall out there with the scoreboard and all that. Hanley didn't look that interested in going back there in a hurry. Espinosa, big piece of that one in late. This is not going to look too great.
He takes a peek and then just kind of stops right there, and it hits right on that A in the Mason sign. If he got back there a little quicker, like you said, and jumped up, he might have had a chance. Ian Desmond will take it.
Espinosa takes a fastball inside. The Nationals made Justin Masterson throw 27 pitches. First inning, he threw 16 strikes, had a couple of Ks. Harper and Robinson around the Zimmerman walk after Escobar led off the inning, extending his hitting streak to 7 games. And the base hit to left. Espinosa spotted the rotation.
Well, if you notice, Danny Espinosa left-handed this year. He's keeping his feet close to the ground. He's just striding real quiet in the baseball. If you remember last year, he had that big leg kick and he was jumping. His head was moving all over the place, but he's kind of quieted his lower half down.
You know, in FP, he's plenty strong without the big stride to hit the ball just about anywhere.
True.
I mean, he's one of the strongest guys for his size around. Blinding speed as well.
And the home run yesterday, you see how his feet are just nice and quiet. The head stays nice and still. You get the bat head out, and you hit one of the Sox bullpen.
That was in the 8th inning, leading off. Nats lost it 9-4. Trying to break on top here tonight. Payoff pitch with 1 out. That stays outside. Danny Espinosa, first walk of the season. Dan Coco more on Espinosa's approach.
I asked Matt Williams earlier today what he sees differently, if anything, in Danny's left-handed approach at the plate, and he said that he's shorter this year. He's realizing that he doesn't have to provide the power. The power is going to come from the velocity on the pitcher's pitch. He's shorter to the ball, he's quicker, and Matt Williams feels that'll help him make more contact and cut down on those strikeouts.
And you can be short and quick when you keep your feet close to the ground. If you get a leg kick, you have a tendency to be a little bit long, so that makes perfect sense.
Big spot for Michael A. Taylor here.
so big that my partner.
I'm getting choked up with 2 men on base. I think I got part of a lobster shell last night. Runners going. Throw to third. And out. Izzy and Desmond. Wow. Second out at third base. Espinosa to second.
See what kind of jump he had. Ryan Hannigan answered the bell. I mean, watch him pop out real quick. Masterson very deliberate to the plate with the runner on second. That's what Desmond was thinking, but he was thrown out by a good 2 steps. Good throw by Hannigan. Good tag by Sandoval. And I don't know that a bunt attempt with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs is a really good idea by Michael Taylor. Swing that bat, drive him in.
0 for 4 yesterday. He's not 0 for anymore. That will bring around Danny Espinosa. Michael A. Taylor becomes the team leader in RBIs with his 4th. The Nationals on top here in the second.
Swing that bat and drive him in. I like what Matt Williams did with Michael Taylor today. Put him in the 9 slot. So in the American League, for those of you who don't watch American League baseball, usually the 9th hitter is like a double leadoff guy. You'll put your other fast guy down at the bottom. Take a little pressure off him. Doesn't have to lead the game off. Watches 8 guys hit before him. Comes up, gets a big knock. Nice move by Matt Williams, putting him down the order.
Yeah, busted up an 0 for 8 with that base hit. Top of the order, Escobar. Guy who can handle the bat. Taylor has good speed. Michael is 1 for 2 in steals. Had a lean going towards second. There's another inning. And they're making Masterson work long and hard. This is his 45th pitch of the game. And Escobar with a half swing over the Red Sox dugout.
Pitch number 46 already for Masterson.
Ooh, that was to the backhand side, and Mike Napoli had to reach over the runner to keep it from going down the line.
Former catcher's pretty good over there at first base. He's as good as any former catcher playing first I've ever seen.
Taylor on the move, pitch way inside, and Michael is there. And with Holt and Betts scrambling after the ball, he'll stay at second base. Taylor's second steal in 3 attempts. And now with the contact man Escobar in there, another runner in scoring position.
So what a difference a day makes, right? Michael Taylor leading this one off with a base hit and RBI, steals second base, put his ball club on the board. Nicely done.
Escobar with a 1-1 count. And this one to short. High bounce for Brock Holtz. The Nats are gone in the second. They lost a runner at third on an attempt to double steal, but Taylor got the RBI. For the achiever in you, PNC with our minor league report. Rafael Martin, contract selected today. He got on the bus with his big old duffel bag, came into the clubhouse. Tanner Roark promptly removed all the snacks from that bag and distributed to guys all over the clubhouse, and they had some fun and some laughs today. But he joins the Nats, replacing Xavier Cedeno. Pitched 3 years in the Mexican Winter League. Bill Singer signed him back in 2010. And he went through 3 levels of the system last year. Rafael Martin.
Supposed to have a great slider.
That ball gashed to left center by Mike Napoli. Taylor's got a chance to keep him to a single here. Gets rid of it, and he does. Napoli came into that at bat 2 for 24, hitting 083 and a helmet bump with his first base coach.
There's been a lot of talk about bad Nats defense early in the year. The one thing they have done very well, and it's been Bryce Harper and Michael Taylor, is holding guys to singles on what looked like sure doubles. Bryce has done it a couple of times. Now Michael Taylor has done it a couple of times. That was a nice play off the wall. Only his second game in Fenway Park. He played that like it was his home ballpark.
It'll bring in Daniel Nava. In there with the low strike. Nava 32 years of age now. He was a non-drafted free agent when the Red Sox got him back in 08. At the age of 24, he had played 5 years in the minors, played in some independent leagues, and he's become a solid, if not full-time major league guy. Valuable part of this ball club. Versatile. And he'll hit one to right for Bryce Harper. FP, you talked about yesterday the fact that he's now given up switch hitting.
Yeah, he used to be a switch hitter. Now he's straight left.
It'll bring in the former Cincinnati Red, Ryan Hannigan, who after 7 years with Cincinnati was with Tampa Bay last year. Hit 218 in 84 games for the Rays. And he was traded to San Diego on December 19th. And then the same day traded here for infielder Will Middlebrooks. 0 for 4 career against Steven Strasburg. Hannigan 34. Born in Washington. Went to high school in Massachusetts. Went to Rollins College. Another part of that deal. That was a 3-team 10-player deal. The Nats were involved in that. They got a player to be named later, but the big story in that deal was Will Myers of the Rays going to San Diego. Strasburg's been keeping the ball down. He'd like to get the catcher to pound one into the turf here. Sharp breaking ball. And the body language from the pitcher seems to think he thought he had a strike. Mercedes-Benz tracks it.
Yeah, whenever he holds a pose at the end, he's telling you he thought it was a strike. A very short little slider-like curveball there from Steven. Not the big 12-6 one we're used to. It means he kind of didn't get his arm up, came around it.
Too low with 95. Heater up, and the right-handed batter couldn't catch up. Pretty good success as a Red against Nationals pitching. His best year was 300 for Cincinnati in 70 games back in 2010. 2-2. That's a breaking ball that'll sit him down. Steven Strasburg, first strikeout.
And you see the curveball tonight. He'll do this every now and then where it's more like a slider. He's not throwing a slider. He's just getting kind of his fingers on the side of the ball. Maybe throwing a little too hard, but nonetheless it worked nicely for strike 3.
Here's Brock Holt, another one of those good ball players out of Rice University in Houston. In the dirt, Ramos keeps it close. Played JUCO ball for a couple of years and then hit .348 his only season in Rice, his junior year, before the Pirates drafted him. And then traded to the Red Sox in a deal that involved former Nat Joel Hanrahan and a former closer here, Mark Melancon.
If you're wondering why Steven Strasburg is paying so much attention to Mike Napoli, he has 31 career stolen bases and he has one this year. He's one of those guys that if you don't pay attention to, he'll ambush you. So nice job of just letting him know you're there.
Fastball away 2-0.
Big burly guy, used to be a catcher, first baseman. You wouldn't think that, but he will run.
He's played in the World Series in Texas and in Boston. Up the middle. Desmond to his left, just couldn't get it. Ian with a great effort. Ball hit too hard. And the Red Sox have 2 on, 2 out again. This time it'll be Mookie Betts.
So Brock Holt coming in the game at .714, and now he's 1 for 1. What's his average now?
Brock Holt or Napoli?
Brock Holt.
6 for 8. Yeah, he's in .750. Napoli came in hitting .083, and he has a hit. And by the way, if Michael Taylor doesn't hold Napoli to a single on that drive off the wall, the Red Sox might have just tied the game up. Here's Mookie Betts. He bounced out to Desmond first time. Strasburg 95 with the heater.
Well, I like how his strikes are knees or below so far. And what does that mean? He's on time. His release points where it needs to be. His mechanics are where they need to be.
Snap on that breaking ball, but low, 82.
Well, it's a good pitch. He's looking into his dugout to get some confirmation on what he thought. I don't know where this misses.
Yeah, not where it's caught. You can see the downward trend even on the graphic from the front of the strike zone to the back. 1-1 pitch. Front door breaking ball.
I think the Red Sox are looking for that big 12-6 curveball, not the tight little one that Strasburg is featuring tonight. It's locking him up. It's looking like his fastball out of his hand.
He goes with the heater. Mookie Betts late for it.
And I've talked about it before, Cart. A guy with a good curveball as a hitter, the first thing you see is a ball pop up high out of his hand. So regardless of how good the curveball is as a hitter, it's easier to recognize when it does that. But if it comes out from behind his hand, like the fastball, or in front of his hand, now it's hard to pick up for a hitter. And the one that Strasburg's featuring tonight isn't popping up out of his hand. It's mimicking his heater.
That ball is fair into the left field corner on a high changeup. Napoli scores. Holt comes around. He will score. And the Red Sox have taken the lead. Mookie Betts has 6 RBIs in this series.
Maybe one too many fastballs from Steven Strasburg to Mookie Betts. Wasn't seeing the curveball, and he tried to use that fastball as a knockout pitch. Jason Worth Plays it down the corner, but Brock Holt can run. He was flying around third base. No play at the plate. 2-1 Sox.
Here's Pedroia. Her ball in there. He lined one to left first time. Up the middle. Strasburg couldn't reach it, but Espinosa right there. And the Red Sox come up with a pair of 2-out hits. Worth and then Harper with Zimmerman to follow. The Nats now down by a run.
Somebody just been on the street to an amazing outing in Nats Park this season, due for 2015. Brand new fan experiences could be included with your group outings, like watching Ian Desmond swing a bat left-handed on TV, or you can watch batting practice. You can hold the finish line for the Geico President's Race. Call 202-675-NATS and you'll see racing presidents and not a green monster. Check out this graphic, folks. Soak it all in for a second.
We playing chess?
And then we're going to talk amongst ourselves. So last year, there's been so much talk about defense this year. Last year, you had Anthony Rendon at third, who was as good as anybody with a glove. Ian Desmond after April, who's as good as anybody with a glove. Asdrubal Cabrera at second base, how smooth was he? And then Adam LaRoche, a Gold Glove winner at first base. This year, you have a shortstop in Escobar that played second in spring training, is now playing third. You have a third baseman in Ryan Zimmerman, who's learning how to play first. You have Ian Desmond in April doing his April thing. And Dan Uggla at second, who's really never been known for his glove, more about hitting home runs. So, and he's done a nice job defensively so far. So when you're wondering about why they're not playing defense, and Jason Worth in left, who was in right, and Bryce and flip-flopping, that could be a big reason. It takes a second to get used to all the things that are going on that took me 4 pitches to explain.
Worth swinging on 3-0. Sounded like he broke his back. And Daniel Nava with the catch in right center.
Does that make sense?
Go ahead.
No, I mean, did that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're talking about them not playing defense. Well, that's why you had one of the best defensive infields in recent memory with Rendon, Desmond, Cabrera, LaRoche, and Harper, Span, and Worth in the outfield. I mean, Wilson Ramos throwing everybody out. That's a defense as good as anybody's. Right now, with where everybody's standing out there getting used to things, it ain't. It's that simple.
Justin Masterson, 47 pitches first 2 innings. One of his 2 strikeouts, Bryce Harper, with a man aboard for the second out, first inning. Off speed, Bryce didn't miss the bag by much. FP, how many positions did you not play in the big leagues?
I didn't catch it. I didn't play first. Second, short, third, center, left, and right.
Did you pitch?
I did not.
Okay. I thought maybe you got an inning in somewhere in a 12-1 game.
No.
Harper late for 91. Masterson, third K. Ryan Zimmerman yesterday, fifth inning, leading off. Deep part of this ballpark.
Second home run of the year, and all of his stuff that he's got going on with the bat wiggle, the leg kick is starting to become on time. Getting it out of the way early, getting that barrel out in front. And he's looked good.
Fastball up in the zone. Zimmerman did not glance back at Jim Reynolds, so he probably thought it was in there. Walked his first time up. Ryan, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. And the hits are starting to come. Got another day game here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It'll be easier to see the ball than it was yesterday at 3, 4, and 5. That's a busted bat. So 2 broken bats in the inning. Worth and Zimmerman. The Nats go in order for the Red Sox ahead by a run.
Ian Desmond for a decade now, back to 2005. And Nord talked to me earlier today about why Desmond seems to get off to slow starts at the beginning of the season. He told me that he thinks Desmond always strives for the ultimate. He's trying to win a Gold Glove. He's trying to be the best shortstop in the game. And he tries to do that from day one instead of just letting it play out over the course of the season. He said he doesn't need to carry the team if guys are hurt and try to do too much. Guys, including Ian, just need to be good in their area, do their job, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, well stated, Dan, and thanks to Randy Nord for some great insight as always. That's Dan Kolko with our Coons.com sideline report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Good stuff right there. You know,
it's the old don't try to do too much theory.
Let it happen instead of make it happen. I think, I was talking to Masser today about it. He wants to be so great that he tries to smush a whole season into the first month of a season. And he tries to play that out. I mean, and then once the weather gets warm and he relaxes, he does his thing. Mike Rizzo told me today he'll bet as much as you want to that his numbers are going to be where they're at.
It's a good breaking ball from Strasburg to the knees of David Ortiz. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ortiz base hit right field first time. Stranded with Pedroia when Strasburg got Hanley Ramirez and Pablo Sandoval. Fly ball, ground ball. 2-5-0 Sox, 1-3-0 Nats. That's low, ball 2. David Ortiz, 39 years young. It's his 19th year in the big leagues. Challenge fastball, 96. Strasburg's second K, first swinging strikeout tonight. Nissan will try and stay with it.
Well, it's been very aggressive with number one tonight, and it's been 94 to 96 miles an hour, and he climbs the ladder on Ortiz, throws it Red Sox high on his jersey, and he can't catch up.
Hanley Ramirez, Pablo Sandoval. Man, you can look at 3, 4, 5 combos around baseball. These guys just keep up with their track records. They'll be as good as anybody. Table setters Mookie Betts and Dustin Pedroia ahead of them. Formidable Red Sox lineup this year.
81 games in this park. Whew.
The Red Sox were world champions as recently as 2 seasons ago. They didn't have a whole lot going for them last year. They finished 20 games under 500. They were 12th in the league in hitting, 10th in pitching. Struck out a lot. They did walk a lot. Their staff only had 36 saves all year.
And it is an odd year.
It is. Their 2 odd years, almost what the Giants are to even years. They were 13 under 500 at home last year. This is John Farrell's 3rd year. Jersey guy out of Monmouth Beach. He's well known out on the plains where he was an all Big 8 player before the Big 12 at Oklahoma State. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hanley Ramirez. That's the changeup. No swing, says Paul Schreiber. Inside the numbers again with STG Inc. Look at Steven Strasburg, how high he is on the list in interleague appearances. Guys who've made at least 10 starts. And that's pitching against some great lineups, like the Tigers, the Angels. Base hit. Hanley Ramirez is 9 for 29 on the season. And that's his 6th career hit against Steven Strasburg.
5 strikeouts his first start. Nothing to sneeze at. 2 strikeouts here tonight. And I think you're seeing more balls put into playoff Steven this year because he really hasn't had a feel for that changeup yet. That's the wipeout pitch that he uses for strike 3. He's gone to that slurve thing he's got going tonight a couple of times, and Ramirez just took one over the plate for a base hit.
Here's Pablo, who hit one sharply back to Strasburg first time. It was a good low heater for a strike. Steven picked it off, and that stranded 2 runners. Hanley Ramirez used to run a lot more than he does now at this stage of his career. He has 261 big league stolen bases.
Below the strike zone with off speed is how you get out Pablo Sandoval.
He's topped out at 96 here recently with the Ortiz strikeout, and now strike 2 to Pablo.
And he's also a guy, Carp, that you don't need to throw strikes to.
Right. He is getting ahead, right?
Yeah, and just don't throw strikes. He's going to swing. And it's weird how he becomes so patient in the postseason, and that's when he does the most damage. He's a different hitter in October than he is for 6 months.
Well, he went the other way against Drew Storen in that key at bat in the Jordan Zimmerman game 2 after Jordan got pulled, and that was vintage October Pablo. Giants put that game in extra innings. The marathon ensued, and the Nats went to San Francisco down 2-0. Ramirez looking a little runnerish at first base, and Strasburg steps off. Hanley Ramirez had a fine division series last year. He had 429 against St. Louis. And you can hear Pablo's reaction up here. That was a breaking ball that got him on the foot.
Remember, he got hit on the elbow yesterday by a Jordan Zimmerman slider, slid in hard and late into second base in the 8th inning yesterday. And now he gets hit on the foot by Steven Strasburg. I'm going with slurve tonight because that's not his normal curve. It has so much tilt to it. For those of you that don't know what tilt is, it's side to side action. Watch how this thing just kind of sweeps in there. I mean, that's not his typical curveball.
I tell you, that was foot first. There was no short hop off the ground right there. Pablo's okay. He'll walk down to first base. First and second, one out. And now the dangerous Mike Napoli, who hit one off the green monster in deep left center last time up. And there are no breaks in this lineup.
American League Baseball, baby.
Yeah. Front door, breaking ball on the first pitch. Then the heater, and that was a big time rip by Mike Napoli, who has hit 186 career home runs.
He wants that one back.
17 here last year, 23 the year before. Strasburg buries that breaking ball, and Wilson Ramos goes backstop very well. Bottom of the third. Sox got 2 last inning. They've had at least 2 runners in every frame. And Strasburg just misses low.
Pretty good pitch. He liked it. And Wilson Ramos going to come out and talk to Steven. Danny Espinosa on the mound.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought Desmond might come as well. There were 3 guys kind of flinching toward the mound there, maybe sensing Strasburg was upset about that
No,
call?
Danny Espinosa is looking at Hanley Ramirez, and he's seeing Hanley Ramirez relaying signs to Mike Napoli, so they went and switched up the signs. That's what a good middle infielder does. He watches the base runner, and if he sees something funky, like he's relaying something, change the signs. That's what they just did.
2-2. And a bouncer to Desmond. At second, Espinosa can't clear himself of Pablo Sandoval. It'll be first and third, 2 out. Second time in the series Pablo's been hit by a pitch, albeit breaking balls, and then had a chance to go to second.
I don't think they were going to turn this, but watch the takeout slide by Pablo Sandoval. He went up with his arms. So it's okay to go in there hard, but when you start reaching with your arms like that, that'll get a lot of attention. That's a whole lot of panda coming at you, number 1. But number 2, when you start reaching for guys, they could have called that a double play. I've seen umpires do that when guys go up with their hands and try to push it. A middle infielder.
There's Daniel Nava, flew out to Harper in right field first time.
I mean, going in hard is one thing. Trust me, I love when a guy goes in hard. But watch the hands of Sandoval try to push Espinosa. And that could be construed as interference. And in my mind, should have been a double play.
Counts even 1-1.
And in Pablo's defense, he's probably sick of being hit, but
from the side door, 80, big time hook. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nava 0 for 4 career against Steven Strasburg. 4 for 12 to start the season. Line drive, base hit. All the way to third. Napoli, after Ramirez scored, and the Red Sox are just piling up the hits here. That's 7 base hits in 3 innings.
you see the curveball right there just kind of spinning in there. It's been doing that all night. And we showed you the highlights in the open of Steven Strasburg in 2012 in Fenway Park. In the curveball he had was so much different. You know, almost 12-6 on the clock. Tonight, it's not the same. So, in my mind, he's pitching with 1 pitch tonight. It's a fastball. He hasn't really used his changeup, and the curveball's just been tiny. It hasn't really locked anybody up or missed a whole lot of bats.
Yeah, he threw 88 to Mookie Betts for that 2-run double last inning. Couldn't bury the changeup. Betts turned on it, hit it right inside the third base bag. Another RBI here on what FP would probably call a cement mixer, kind of a breaking ball sitting right there. There's Ryan Hannigan, who he struck out looking first time. That's a heater, 94 right in there. So the Red Sox, 3 runs on 7 hits. They had 9 runs on 13 hits yesterday.
Tough lineup to cut through with 1 pitch, although the fastball's been great tonight.
Runner going off first and then stopping was Nava. Moving at first again. Strasburg focusing in on the hitter, and John Farrell has had his runner moving at first twice on 0-2 pitches. Fastball after fastball.
Yeah, he's just telling you right now, he's backing up what I'm saying. He doesn't have confidence enough in his off speed to go to it. He knows he has a good fastball tonight. So I guess he's just going to move that thing around. Haven't seen but a handful of changeups, maybe 2 or 3, 4 at the most. And the curveball's been acting more like a short, tight, late slider than the big roundhouse one you see with the swing and miss stuff.
The runner on the move. It's another RBI hit. Harper's throw to third, close but late. Napoli scores. That's Nava at third, and the Red Sox now lead
4-1.
I mean, you could get away with just a fastball, but in order to do that, you have to move it up, down, in, and out. And it's 94 to 96, so it's not like you're just flipping an 85, 88 mile an hour fastball in there. But if you keep throwing it and you keep throwing it, major league hitters are going to hit it. If you have nothing else to think about as a hitter except for gear up for number one, and guys are talking in the dugout right now. They're saying, hey, he's going straight to his fastball. He doesn't have a curveball. The changeup wasn't very good, so the Red Sox are sitting on number one.
Third inning, and their number 9 batter is hitting for the second time here. Shortstop Brock Holtz. He had a base hit up the middle first time. This game is still reasonable and a long, long way to go, but you don't want to be down 5 at any point. They're down 3 right now. .93 in there to get ahead. There's the changeup, 86.
Well, this is where the pass, when he throws the changeup for a strike like he just did, he grips it a little differently and throws it as hard as he can and has more of a split action to it. And it usually results in strike 3.
Yeah, that was it. Inner half, a little bit low.
Close.
That's a big hook. Strasburg bookends the third inning with 2 strikeouts. The Red Sox pick up 2 more on 3 hits and lead 4-1 at this historic ballpark.
Taylor got the party started for the Nats at 9th tonight, drove in Danny Espinosa. Then there's that guy again, Babe Betts. He's been doing everything in this series. Daniel Nava with an RBI single. That scored Hanley Ramirez. And then Ryan Hannigan going the other way. In quick style, thanks to Geico, we just showed you it's 4-1 Red Sox.
4-8-0 Sox, 1-3-0 Nats. Escobar, first inning single. Continues his streak. Michael A. Taylor leads the club in RBIs. Mookie Betts. Looks like Mookie Best
There's Clint Robinson. Long at bat first time. Masterson struck him out on a breaking ball. Justin's coming off a 1-2-3 11 pitch third inning. The only quick inning either pitcher has had tonight. Masterson, born in Jamaica, lives in Indiana. Red Sox signed him as a free agent December 11th. Cleveland moved him to St. Louis at the deadline last year. He went 4-6 for the Indians, 3-3 for the Cardinals. And a chopper foul, 2-2. Up the middle, but playing him that way, the shortstop Holt. And that's 5 in a row for Masterson.
Join the Nats on Friday, April 17th, as they host Military Appreciation Day as part of this season's Patriotic Series. It's presented by SAIC. All active duty, dependent, reservists, and retired military members receive 2 complimentary game tickets per military ID while supplies last. Get those tickets at Nat Park's ticket windows on Potomac Avenue near the Blue Tent, and that starts at 4 p.m.
Beautiful sunset out to the northwest tonight. April 14th. Good luck at the post office tomorrow. Wilson Ramos jumps back, and it's 1-1. Coming forward to get it before that second hop, Napoli. That'll bring in Ian Desmond, who doubled with 1 out in the second. Thrown out at third after an attempt at a double steal with Danny Espinosa behind him, who had walked. And then Taylor did give the Nats the lead when he brought Danny home with a 2-out single. High chopper, base hit. Deflected by Holt. Desmond will make a big turn. And then Hanley Ramirez gets it back in. Ian Desmond, 2 for 2. It's not his first 2-hit game of the year, but it's the first time he's been 2 for 2 at the start of a game.
Yeah, got that sinker, just chopped it over Pablo Sandoval's head. So nice start for Ian Desmond, the clean shaven. Tightened up his hair too. I like him better without the facial hair.
There's Danny Espinosa.
And Danny shaved right before the game.
4th inning shadow. That's a hard hit ball. Napoli might have gotten a piece of it. Desmond scampers to third, and the Nats trying to come out with a get back in the game 2-out rally here in the 4th.
Well, the middle infield's doing their job tonight, 4 for 4. Espinosa a couple of knocks, Desmond a couple of knocks. And Danny Espinosa says, I got your no more switch hitting thing right here.
Well, you're going to face so many more right-handers, FP, than lefties during the season.
Yeah, I was talking to Rick Schuh about it, and he was a straight right-handed hitter, and I was a switch hitter. And I said, you know what, Schuey, I was way better right-handed than I was left-handed, but I always picked up a bat left-handed. And if you took that away from me, I loved hitting left-handed, even though I was a better right-handed hitter. And I think that's kind of the thing Danny's been going through with spring training, this right-on-right thing, is when you're a switch hitter, that's kind of how you think of yourself as a switch hitter. And you ask switch hitters, they always pick up the bat left-handed first. And it might be to your point about seeing more right-handed hitters, but
pitchers,
pitchers, yeah, that's a hard thing to give up.
Well, and if you become strictly a right-handed batter, you're setting yourself up to be a platoon player, because some lefty's going to get a lot of at-bats. But against all these right-handed pitchers.
But in the major leagues, when they know that, exploding sliders, nasty curveballs, that's all you're going to see, because they're going to test you to see if you can hang in there on that. You're used to everything breaking into you, and then all of a sudden it's breaking away.
0-2, Taylor's got a fight here, and not a lot of fight in that swing. He was fooled by the breaking ball. Masterson, 2 singles given up, but he shuts the door onto the bottom of the 4th. Authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. 4-1 Red Sox. A lot of Nats fans up in the upper deck, left field, down toward the corner. Taking a little 4th inning stretch there. Top of the order, Betts, Pedroia, Ortiz. Steven Strasburg, 73 pitches, 52 strikes in just 3 innings.
You know why they're taking a 4th inning stretch? I have some friends from D.C. in town for this series. They said the seats here are so tiny that you could barely fit in them.
It's how they got almost 38,000 in this joint.
My friend's 7'4", 300 pounds, but other than that.
Sharply hit, Desmond gobbles it up, fires to Zimmerman. Now that's some tight defense. Now the booth was playing better defense here 3 years ago than it is now. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah, there we are. Remember me, folks, when I made that catch 3 years ago?
You were one of 2 Nats announcers with a caught ball that year, and that is a home run from Dustin Pedroia. Somebody just caught one on top of the Green Monster. It is 5-1. Well, at least you didn't jinx us into giving up a run there.
Dustin Pedroia always ready to hit. You see where the pitch was. Supposed to be down and away, kind of rode up and in. And just getting out of here. He's healthy this year. He's strong again. And you see the results.
Here's David Ortiz. That was Pedroia's 3rd of the year. This is one of those guys who's such a good ball player. Not known as a power guy, but he's hit 109 home runs. And here's a man who's hit 468. That's a busted bat. Bryce Harper coming to get it. He does.
Well, it's a tough read for Bryce right there because you're thinking 2-0 count, big poppy. You know, when he hits him, they're hit. And he took kind of a jab step back and had to come in. So nice makeup speed by Bryce Harper to make the sliding catch. He was fooled by that. You'll see that a lot of times with a power hitter up. And count leverage. Nice play.
Yeah, cool camera angle out there from right field. We don't get to see that very often. 2 outs, bases empty. Hanley Ramirez. And he was trying to hit one over the green monster, the seats, and the 3 signs out there. "37 feet tall, that wall." Right on the edge, 93, well placed. With the fastball, it's 0-2. Well, Strasburg struck out Brock Holt with a good curve last inning to end it. Let's see what he comes up with here on 0-2. He'll go changeup. 86 low. No swing on the appeal to Paul Schreiber.
Not even close. And his helmet stayed on.
.95 down there, 2-2. Hanley Ramirez, another big swing. 87 strikes him out. So the Nats are down by 4, top of the order with Yunel Escobar, Worth, and Harper to follow in the 5th. Dan Coco changing the inning on the Miami-Atlanta game as we go to the top. Oh, that's not Dan. But he's been roaming around back there. Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Contributes $50 to support Girls on the Run DC. Every time the Nats draw a walk. $1,000 so far on 20 free passes. Take that first step towards a healthier, more active lifestyle, says Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Tapper to third. Sandoval, couple of crow hops, and the Nats leadoff man retired. They've had one leadoff man on tonight. Zimmerman had a leadoff homer yesterday. Espinosa had one 3 innings later. And other than those home runs, one leadoff man aboard on anything other than an error.
It's just having trouble putting something together. You know? A hit, a walk, a hit. Even a quality at bat, in the sense that you make him throw 10, 12 pitches and the next 2 guys get hits. Matt Williams would love to see that line moving, I'll tell you that.
81 fading inside. Inside the numbers this time with Jeep. And guys who just get on base and get on base and keep getting that done. Jason Worth had another big number last year in that department. His on base percentage was .394, .398 the year before that. And then in the first championship year in 12, .387. That ball appeared to hit Jason Worth. 86, and he's down to first base.
And talking about quality at bats and maybe a walk, Jason Worth having a little stare out there on the 3-0 pitch that hit him. Let's check it out one more time. Yeah, he didn't look too happy, does he?
Here's Bryce Harper.
But the point I'm trying to make, Carp, is when you're trying too hard, a walk is the last thing you're thinking about. A 10-pitch at bat is the last thing you're thinking about.
Yeah, you want to make somebody pay with your bat.
You're trying to hit a 4-run homer with nobody on when you're trying too hard. And Joe Madden, the Cubs skipper, has a saying that I love, and it's try easy. And right now, that's so much easier said than done. But that's what they need to do offensively, is try easy.
Harper breaks his bat and drops one into left. So after 2 swinging strikeouts, Bryce Harper has his first hit of this series. Robbed on a bomb yesterday, and then you get one like that. They don't even out, but he'll take it. 2 on, 1 out, and Ryan Zimmerman could change this game in a heartbeat.
And I think that's why Ryan Hannigan is going out to the mound. The thing that Ryan has going for him right now is his home run was to right center yesterday. The short porch is to left. You know, Masterson has this big sinker. I don't know that they'll flirt with the inner half right here, but if they do, like you said, it could be instant ball game.
Well, the Nets haven't had him off the stretch very much tonight. Target away. Hannigan catches it even further out. Out there as well, 2-0. Masterson is at 80 pitches in the 5th inning. Farrell's offense has been really good. Matt Williams has not. No inning bigger than 2 runs. That could change here. And Zimmerman takes a 2-0 changeup. 83 right in there. That's outside again, 3-1.
Get something up, out over the plate, bell tie, and let it rip.
Zimmerman takes the walk, and the bases are loaded.
But these are good at bats. Jason Worth was 3-0, got hit by a pitch. Ryan Zimmerman walks for the 2nd time tonight, and you know, this is what I'm talking about. Quality at bats, making somebody work, and then once they work and they get tired, they leave something up. You make them pay.
Juan Nieves, Red Sox pitching coach, to the mound. And that was a 3-0 off-speed pitch that hit Jason Worth.
I don't know if it was off speed, car, because I'm watching Masterson. His fastball's 87, and then when he needs to throw a strike, he's kind of wishing it in there at 83, 84.
Okay.
So
yeah, BP fastball.
Yeah, I don't
got away from him. Yeah, because if it was a changeup, you'd be questioning. You're up 4 runs and you throw a 3-0 changeup.
He's just trying to aim it, and he's thinking about his mechanics, and it's slowing down.
Now here's a big spot for Clint Robinson. Suddenly, didn't know I'd be saying this so quickly. The tying run is in the batter's box. Right after the Red Sox score 5 runs in 3 innings. And Robinson to right center. That ball's on the ground. Worth comes home. Harper to third. The line is moving. And here we go. It's a 5-2 game. Robinson, second RBI.
Bryce got a bad read on that, or he would have scored 2. He went back to second base. But when you're down by 4 runs, that's okay. You just need base runners at this point. And how about Clint Robinson, folks?
He's a big league hitter.
He can hit. Belt-high fastball. And doing his thing into right center field, scored Jason Worth. And like Carp said, the line is moving.
He's been in professional baseball since 2008. And in 1 week, he has doubled his big league RBI total. Good for him. Now a big spot for Wilson Ramos, who's at a ground ball to short and a grounder to first.
Get something up. Same pitch that Robinson hit.
Ramos, slow roller. They're not going to turn 2 here, so another run scores. Harper home, and just like that, it's 5-3. Productive out, and Zimmerman to third.
Not what Wilson was thinking, but he'll take it. RBIs are not easy at the major league level. Little tapper to short makes this a 2-run ball game. Tie and run on second. And Ian Desmond 2 for 2.
Yeah, Clint Robinson moving up as well.
And he's swinging.
Target away. Robinson second RBI. Ramos 4th of the year. Desmond has 1. On a pitch up, hopping all over it. And that one got Ryan Hannigan. Strasburg's at 84 pitches through 4. Masterson just short of 90 here in the 5th inning, so Alexio Gondo is throwing. Desmond got a breaking ball, base hit, and this game is going to be tied. Desmond gets it by Napoli, and the Nationals come up with 4 runs here in the 5th inning. Three for 3, Ian Desmond.
A hit by pitch, a lousy single, a walk, another lousy single, and now this big blow by Ian Desmond ties the game up. So the line is moving, and we haven't seen this all year. And I haven't said this all year. Offense is cool.
Biggest inning of the year for the Nationals so far. We had mentioned they hadn't even joined the 3 runs in an inning list, and now they've gone that one better.
Happy May 1st, Ian Desmond.
Espinosa walk, run, and a single. And that ball gets away over by the tarp. Desmond watching the ball will stop at second.
Masterson's been done for about 3 hitters, and I don't know if
trying to get 5 out of him.
Well, I don't know if the bullpen being depleted because of the extra inning game against the Yankees and all the innings they've thrown, but that's a bad throw to first. He's been throwing 83-mile-an-hour fastballs and all over the joint. John Farrell's sticking with him.
Yeah, threw that ball into the runner. Tough play for Napoli. Espinosa with a single could put the Nationals on top. Give the air to the pitcher, as they should. Oh, 2 to Danny Espinosa here in the 5th. Ooh, that was close. That thing really came sweeping back.
It was close, but Jim Reynolds, home plate umpire, is not in a rhythm with Justin Masterson right now. He's been buckshot, spraying the ball all over the place, so he's not looking for strikes. Pitcher throwing balls, sometimes umpires are surprised by a strike.
That hits Danny Espinosa on a breaking pitch. He'll go down to first base. 2 hit batters in the inning. And he is done after 4 2/3 after his teammates gave him 5 runs on 9 hits. The Nationals into the Red Sox bullpen. What a turn of events. Will face a longtime Texas Ranger here, Alexi Ogando, who pitched in just 27 games last year. Had some inflammation right elbow. Red Sox took a flyer on him as a free agent at the end of January.
The fastball's averaging 94 this year, slider 83, occasional changeup at 2%, 87 miles an hour, and righties are hitting 400 against Ogando.
He's a former 13-game winner who has started 48 big league games with a reliever now. Michael A. Taylor went up to get it, and then he kind of stopped his swing. Fenway Park in Boston. Not a great place for the Nats for a game and a half, but things are turning around here in the 5th inning of game 2. Dan downstairs, Bob and FP way up here. Taylor takes a fastball in the zone.
Michael thought that was up.
Alexi Ogando, 31 years of age. Bottom of the order has been tremendous. Desmond 3 for 3, 2 RBIs. Espinosa on base 3 times. Walk hit by a pitch. Taylor with an RBI hit and a steal, 1 for 2. Taylor stays alive the other way. What a night for Masterson. Given all that offensive support I mentioned, he committed a balk, hit 2 batters, and committed an error with a throw to first in this inning.
I said it early, he looked from way up here, and it obviously looks easier, like a comfortable at bat.
Took a while. And Taylor to the gap in right center. That's going to bring in 2. Desmond scores. Espinosa speeding home. Taylor to third. The Nationals lead 7-5. How about that power the other way?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. What a difference a day makes for Michael Taylor. And I think it tells you a little bit about the makeup of this youngster. His first go-around at the major league level on a permanent basis. Was up for a short time last year. Had a rough a day as you could possibly have in the outfield yesterday. And he stays with it today. Was here at 1:15 for early batting practice. And now he's 2 for 3 with a stolen base and 2 RBIs.
Top of the order, Escobar. He takes one up and away, and all those runs charged to Masterson. Escobar started this inning with a soft ground ball out to third. In there.
And Bob, yesterday you said that Michael Taylor needs to go to right field. And he did right there in a big way.
I mean, he's got serious oppo pop. Escobar couldn't stop in that strike 2.
The scorecard on the Nats side has ink all over it. This is awesome. Yeah, rough day yesterday. Could have packed it in down by 4 today. Not the case.
A 6-run 5th, and it's not over yet. Escobar on a pitch in the dirt, strikes out. They'll throw him out at first. Inning over. 10 Nats back. 6 Nats scored. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a 6-run frame. Woohoo!
Seven to 5 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. A good segue to Kids Opening Day because basically Michael Taylor is a kid. Join us at Nats Park on Sunday, April 19th as we celebrate Screech's birthday. Kids Opening Day presented by Junior Nationals Kids Club. Activities include face painting, balloon artists, mascot games, and kids run the bases. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to nationals.com. I think we should paint our faces for the Open on that day.
Okay.
I mean, we do every other day, but it's just makeup.
Shh. TMI.
I'll tell you what, the way things have been going for the Nats offensively, and I know it's only a weekend of the season, that's the first inning as a broadcaster. I mean, everybody knows I'm a homer, so it's no secret. That's the first inning as a broadcaster that I just wanted to cheer in the middle of the inning because it was fun to see some offense for the first time.
Well, I will say you waved those last 2 runners home before Henley did.
I did.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Steven Strasburg has a chance to do some good things here. His middle infielders have given him great support. 1 and 2 to Pablo Sandoval. Getting this guy would go a long way toward a successful bottom of the 5th. His pitch count's going to get him in the next inning or 2.
Well, this is where you got to be your own closer. If you feel like you're smelling the finish line and your team just fought back to get you those runs, you have to be Craig Kimbrell out there and get 3 outs in a hurry.
That's a good breaking ball. Espinosa to get it. Pablo Sandoval 0 for 2. Along with being hit by a pitch. It'll be Napoli and Nava the next 2. Fenway Park opened in 1912. By the way, tomorrow during the game at 2:49 Eastern Time, a moment of silence will be observed a year after the Boston bombings. And that'll be an emotional, quiet moment here at the ballpark. That'll happen during the game. 2 years, pardon me. It'll happen during the game tomorrow. Napoli has scored twice, 1 for 2, a single, the fielder's choice. Strasburg trying to throw that curveball for a strike, and he missed. 2-0. .93. Lots of heat here in the 5th inning. On his 92nd pitch of the night. Overpowers Napoli with that one. It's out of play.
Apparently they gave Michael Taylor a double on that. I put triple in my book. I watched him run. He never slowed down at second. I know there was a bobble in the outfield and the throw went to home, but he never broke stride coming around second base. And that's how you usually tell, right?
I'll tell you why they gave him a double, because they put another error on the board. So they gave Betts an error on that bobble.
I think it was a triple.
To me, it was a straight triple.
If he slowed down to second, saw a bobble, and sped up, it's an error. But he was going for 3 the whole way. And I think, as an official scorer, you have to see what the runner's intent was. Maybe the bobble was because he didn't break stride and was going to third. And you put pressure on the defense. So here's what we're talking about. Not a big deal, double, triple, whatever. It's a 7-5 game. But he never broke stride. This is what I'm talking about. Watch. Right here he puts his head down. He's going for 3. There's no hesitation. So maybe because of the bobble, but I got that as a triple.
So the Red Sox 2 errors in that inning. The previous throwing error on the pitcher. And evidently Mookie Betts is a little human.
I think he should be benched for that play, personally.
Yeah, he shouldn't be in there tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the rest of this game and tomorrow.
(3-2) with 1 out. Got Sandoval on a grounder. Trying to get Napoli. And a ball skied to center. Long way to go for Taylor. He's under it. Jumps about 4 feet in front of the wall. Not taking any chances. 2 down.
Such a big warning track out there that Michael Taylor takes 3 or 4 steps on it, and he's thinking that ball's got to be around me soon. Jumps up, makes the play, touches the ball on the wall. Nicely done. I think what he's making that look for is he broke the wrong way, opened up the wrong way, and kind of had to fight it over the wrong shoulder. And that warning track is huge out there in center field.
It is. Look at that warning track out there. Parts of it are bigger than the dirt part of the infield, especially out there at 420. Here's Daniel Nava, 1 for 2 with an RBI single on a play left side.
Well, I'm digging the fight in Steven Strasburg tonight. I'll tell you what, he doesn't have his off-speed stuff like he's used to. He has it, but the changeup has been straight. The curveball's been flat. But he's been going right after guys. And there's been times when he's been criticized about not doing that. But I am loving what I'm seeing about being aggressive with the fastball all night long.
Check swing. Got the call. 1-2. He went 95 in 5 1/3 against the Mets. Tonight, a big-time struggle. His offense has picked him up, and he is picking them up. Strasburg, who would have thought that he'd be the guy with 5 innings to qualify for a win and not Masterson?
A big-time shutdown inning right there, and that's what aces do. Get some runs on the board and shut them down like a closer. Nice job. Sports Service is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins every night. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
The Nats have broken out on top here. Mazda due up, top of the 6th. What they've done career against the Sox. Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman. Not sure if anything's wrong with Hanley Ramirez, but he's been taken out of the game. We'll bring you up to date on Red Sox outfield changes in a moment.
He was hobbling around yesterday after that foul ball off his ankle, and maybe that had something to do with him not jumping.
Yeah.
For that ball off the wall earlier in the game.
So Daniel Nava has moved to left. Hanley Ramirez out of the game. Shane Victorino will take his batting spot, the cleanup spot, and play right field. Now we're told it's Sandoval out of the game because of his foot. Ramirez is at third base. So we missed Hanley over there, but there he is. So it's Pablo Sandoval getting smoked on the foot. He had to leave.
Like I said, maybe Hanley's coming in to play third, and Pablo went out because of the foul ball off his foot.
That's a called third strike, and Worth is gone, and Ogando comes out, strikes out 2 guys in a row. Nats box a little empty, other than the Taylor second inning single until an explosive 5th inning when they scored 6 runs on only 4 hits. Harper a single, Clint Robinson RBI hit, Ramos RBI grounder, the big blow, the Desmond game-tying single that brought in 2, and then the Michael Taylor, should have been a triple, ruled a double, brought in 2 to right center. Bryce Harper squares and takes one in the dirt.
Well, Gondo's got that short arm stroke where he's almost throwing out of his ear like a catcher, and it's 95. So if you're hitting against a guy like that, you really have to be ready. You know, he's out of the stretch number 1, so that's going to speed you up. And then the stuff based on his release point, you got to be ready to hit. Even if a guy has a short arm stroke, Carp, and he is in the windup, it gives you time as a hitter to kind of get back, get ready, get everything going on. But add that to a stretch, ball's going to get on you quick. See that? You can just tell by the way Bryce Harper took that. It was almost by him.
Yeah, riding high in the zone at 93. Bryce a base hit to left, busted his bat. That was a key hit right after Worth got hit with the 3-0 pitch. And a swing and a foul tip. Taking a big rip. Gondo working slowly. Clock is ticking. Bryce on a pitch upstairs. I had him 30 seconds between pitches.
Well,
I was counting.
You know, the whole 2 feet in the box thing, I just don't understand. I'm all for speeding up the pace of play, but as an athlete, you try your best to slow the game down. Between pitches, you regroup mentally and you say, okay, he threw me this, this, and this. He's going to throw me that. This is where I'm looking. You formulate a game plan. You have a routine. You get back in the box. I mean, the key for all the great ones is to slow the game down.
Check swing. Ogando to his right. Low throw, and Napoli able to grab it.
And there's so many things that go through your head in the course of that bat where your mind is just going so fast. You're playing in front of 40,000 people. It could be a big situation. And you need that time as a hitter to regroup before you get in the box again. And to have 1 foot in there and not have that time between pitches. Like I said, I'm all for speeding up the pace of play. But as a hitter, you need that time between pitches to figure out what you want to do next and what you're looking for and where you're looking for it.
Ryan Zimmerman just asked Jim Reynolds to look at the ball. He did, threw it back, did not get a new one. Ryan 0 for 1, pair of walks, a run scored. His walk loaded the bases last inning.
It goes so fast down there. It's hard to articulate when you're in that batter's box 60 feet 6 inches away from a guy throwing 97 miles an hour. The thoughts that go through your mind, I mean, how you train yourself throughout the course of years to slow the game down.
Good take. Well, you see something like what happened in the first inning tonight. Some guys having good at bats. And then it took a little while for it to turn into runs. But they've had a great approach all night. Well, Zimmerman, that ball tailing in on him, popped up near the line. And they'll give it to the right fielder, Shane Victorino. The Nationals go 1-2-3, and Ogando has retired all 4 he's faced.
Benz of Alexandria. 7-5 Nationals. Look at that 6 in the top of the 5th. That crooked number is a beautiful thing. But there's a guy on the hill that had to keep it at 5. And Steven Strasburg, with what I've been saying all night, I'm sticking to it. Basically one good pitch, his fastball. The curveball's been okay. The changeup has been okay. But he's been so aggressive with the heater that it's been very, very impressive. And the fact that he got the lead and went out there and went 1-2-3 last inning just shows you a little bit about the makeup.
Craig Stammen ready if needed. Strasburg answers the call with 100 pitches through 5 innings. Ryan Hannigan, the catcher, the number 8 man.
And I think because of that aggressive nature, his skipper's seeing him at 101 pitches saying, okay, I like what I'm seeing. Yeah. You're going right after guys. You're still in this game.
He's retired. 7 of the last 8 Red Sox hitters. Bounces the breaking ball. Hannigan going the other way. RBI single back in the 3rd. Put the Red Sox up 4-1 at that time. The Pedroia homer in the 4th added another. Then the Nats took care of that. Front door breaking ball inside. See how long the leash is here. So long as Steven keeps getting guys out. He's got 8, 9, and 1 due up here.
I think tying run comes to the plate. That's it. We'll see.
Hannigan drives one to right, but Bryce Harper is there. I mean, there is some serious real estate in that part of Fenway Park. Mookie Betts and the rest of them. Pablo Sandoval in the original lineup. He's out of the game now. Pedroia, big night, 2 for 3. Betts, 2 more RBIs. Nava and Hannigan RBI singles in that 3rd inning. It's Strasburg against Brock Holt, who's 1 for 2 with a base hit, a run, and a swinging strikeout.
They changed that to a triple for Michael Taylor.
They did. They took the air off the board.
I don't have to change my scorecard because I put triple in to start.
And a breaking ball that doesn't hit somebody. Rockhold got his back foot out of the way on that one. Guys are tired of taking curveballs off the boot tonight. Marlins, by the way, fourth inning at Atlanta, a 4-0 lead. Braves 6-1, Marlins 1-6. Mets at home in the third over the Phillies 4-2. Long way to go there. Phillies will be in our ballpark Thursday. Line drive over the reach of Espinosa. Harper will cut in front of Taylor, keeping him at first with one out. Top of the order, Mookie Betts. Here comes Matt Williams. You were right.
I thought if the time run came to play, that'd be it. But all in all, a pretty good night for Steven Strasburg. Not his best stuff, but he battled and he fought, kept his team in the ball game, and now he leaves with a chance to win.
109 pitches, 73 strikes. Considering how it started, solid for Strasburg tonight.
Now on to relieve him. Stammen used to be a guy that would be a long reliever for the Nationals, come in the middle innings if a starter had trouble. But now he's worked his way into higher leverage situations. Stammen said the other day, I've always looked at it as you either want to be the ace of the staff or the closer. The closer I can get to that, the better. He doesn't particularly care about the notoriety, about being a guy who gets a lot of attention, or really where he pitches. But he says, I love the high leverage situations and helping my team in those spots.
Yeah, I mean, you should see him off the field. He's got earrings, jewelry everywhere, tattoos, sunglasses. He wants as little attention as possible, and we like that.
His Harley always beats the bus to the ballpark. One of the most solid young men you will ever meet, Craig Stammen.
Absolutely.
I told him at spring training, I said, you're not 31 years old, are you? Come on, man. Mookie Betts 1 for 3 with a 2-run double. Craig's really been dealing with that slider his last couple of times out.
As far as a middle infielder, just think about getting an out on a ground ball. If it's hit hard, it'll be a double play, but Betts can fly.
That's hit pretty hard. Desmond Espinosa safe at first. They played it as well as they could have. Mookie Betts just beat him.
Well, they got the out at second. That was the most important thing. But how about the aggressiveness of Via Desmond? You remember the double play ball he sat on in Philadelphia. He came and got this ball. Perfect feed to Espinosa, and they made it close. I thought no way off the bat that this is going to be even close at first base. But a pretty good effort by the middle infield, who's had a big night tonight. Offensively, defensively, they're playing well, and it was bang, bang at first.
Yeah, I still saw the glove unclosed on the ball when his foot hit the bag. Well done by everybody. Everybody did everything right on both sides of the ball there.
Just the way Ian Desmond came after that baseball, there was no hesitation. He wasn't thinking. He was just being an athlete.
Here's Pedroia, 2 for 3 solo homer. Last time up, he's hit 3 this year. And he's 2 for 3 career against Craig Stammen. 89 with run back sinking action to the outside edge. Stammen and Zimmerman trying to take the legs out from under a speedy runner. 2 for 2 this year. This came on one play yesterday. Made an offer, pulled back the bat. Counts even 1-1.
I don't think you're overly concerned with Mookie Betts at first base in a situation with a 2-run lead. You got a guy that already homered in the box. You want to focus on making a good pitch to Pedroia, so you don't want to let him walk into second base. But you also don't want to be so preoccupied that you leave something out over the plate for Pedroia.
Runner goes. Pitch up. Ramos throw on target but late. And Mookie Betts is 3 for 3 in this series.
They're not booing, they're chanting Mookie. And here he goes again. That bag was stolen. What a great jump.
Now you got one of the toughest guys to deal with in a contact situation in all of baseball, Dustin Pedroia. Ortiz on deck. You don't want this inning going any farther. Low. Ortiz will bat, representing the lead run.
Matt Williams going to come out and get Craig Stammen. Remember, Xavier Cedeno put on waivers today, so Matt Williams only has one lefty at his disposal in the bullpen.
And we're about to see Matt Thornton, who knows the American League well, and they know him well. They too were surprised when we told them how well he's thrown for the Nats since coming over last year.
Miller time later in tonight's game that is brought to you by Miller Lite.
Left-hander Matt Thornton, third appearance, 1 inning. Contact outs, over 2 ball games. David Ortiz is 3 for 14 career against him with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. This is a power matchup.
Place is buzzing.
And he goes first pitch breaking ball. Didn't get the call. Good looking pitch. Second base Mookie Betts can fly. Dustin Pedroia fast right behind him. Ortiz to the right side. It's into right field. That's Espinosa. Guns him out from there. Matt Thornton gets a big 1-out job done. And Strasburg could eventually still be a winner.
You by Miller Lite. We're going to show you the line moving. For the first time all year, it's official. The line was moving, and we loved it. Capped off by the Michael Taylor triple in right center field. Scored a whole bunch of dudes.
Michael Taylor with a triple right in the middle of that whole thing. So the Nats are coming up in the top of the 7th. We have a Honda due-up for you. And what they're doing in this series. Desmond has come alive, 3 hits tonight. Clint Robinson, he's just been solid all along. And Wilson Ramos handling Strasburg and the bullpen well. And this is a guy the Nats know very well, Edward Mujica, from his days with San Diego, the Marlins, St. Louis, and he was here for 64 games last year. 49 career saves. He gets the 7th inning assignment right here. Clint Robinson facing him for the first time. Guy with nasty stuff, keeps it low in the zone, turns it over well to left-handed batters. Missed with that one. Mujica, 30 years of age now. Broke in with Cleveland in 06. And Robinson out to the shortstop. Brock Holt, who was playing it up the middle, 1 out. And that's now gone 5 in a row against the Red Sox bullpen.
Text Masson's word of the day, inspiration, to 29292 for your chance to win a meet and greet with Matt Williams. That's presented by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, who encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Well, if you missed the open, the real word of the day was relax. R-E-L-A-X.
Thanks, Aaron Rodgers.
Relax.
Ramos gashes it right to Pedroia. 2 outs.
How about some Yellow bringing the lumber? Ian Desmond, he's been doing it all. Double first time up off the wall. Hanley Ramirez probably couldn't jump because of the ankle injury yesterday. The little chopper over the Panda for a knock. And this was a big one. Down the first base line, couple of RBIs. So Ian Desmond 3 for 3 tonight. He's made some nice plays at short.
Yeah, that one tied the game. Michael Taylor's tripled, added on 2 more. So here we are, 2 innings later, and the Nationals lead 7-5.
I mean, there's so many beards in baseball today that you're almost a trendsetter if you're clean shaven. And Ian Desmond without the beard is 3 for 3.
Take heed, scruffy ones. You shaved today too.
I did.
What, twice?
Shaved that animal off my face a couple weeks ago. Too much gray. Too much work.
Desmond with a big time rip. Ian career 1 for 9. 4 strikeouts against Edward Mujica, who a couple of years ago was probably throwing about as well as anybody in the National League out of the bullpen.
Likes the split with 2 strikes. That's his out pitch.
37 save for St. Louis 2 years ago. Ball club the Red Sox beat in the World Series eventually. Wally.
Screech would crush Wally.
Yeah, Screech could outrace that. He would belly anytime.
Peck his eyes right out and eat him.
Desmond from 115 to 207 with 3 hits tonight.
I mean, he's nice and all, but
he's a green monster.
Screech crushes him. Not even close.
Extending to foul that one off, Ian Desmond. Up and in, got him. Red Sox bullpen perfect against the Nats through 2 1/3. We arrive at the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Green monsters all over the place. And from atop that wonderful edifice in left field, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 coming up to Boston. So look at the famed hand-operated scoreboard at the base of the Green Monster. Tomorrow on Nats Extra before the game, Aaron Barrett and Dan Coco into the catacombs behind left field, and the Bear's going to leave his autograph.
Whoa!
Looking out from the ball strike sign. Tomorrow on Nats Extra, 1 o'clock, Johnny and Ray hosting. Problem is neither of them have been seen since they went in there. This is Hanley Ramirez against Matt Thornton. 1-for-1 career.
Is that the spot where they got the famous Carlton Fisk shot from that camera right there?
From one of those, yeah. Harry Coyle, the great NBC director,
yes,
put a camera in the wall out there.
That's the spot I'm being told right there. One of the greatest shots ever.
1-1 Thornton to Ramirez. Now Thornton gets 3 right-handed batters here in the 7th inning. And a bouncer that Desmond will reach to his left, and it pops right off his glove. And that should be Ian Desmond's 6th error of the year out of the 7 the Nationals have made. He got there.
And the types of errors he makes in April, they're not hard plays. And it's funny because he makes 10 errors in April every single year, and then the rest of the year, he makes 10 errors the whole year. That one shot on him. Couldn't corral it.
Ian, 20 errors total 2 years ago. 24 errors last year after rough Aprils. And now this thing thickens a bit with Victorino getting hit. And it's 2 on, nobody out.
The 7th inning's been a bugaboo for Matt Williams early in the season. He's still trying to find a guy to get it to Blake Trinan, to get it to Drew Storm. He's been playing matchups in the 7th. He brought in Xavier Cedeno with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th the other day in Philly. And he brought him in again the next day. And now Matt Thornton gets a shot at it here in the 7th.
The Nats coming into this game had given up 29 errors this year. 7 unearned runs. They'd given up 29 runs, 7 of them unearned because of the errors. And it's up to Matt Thornton now to keep that from happening again. Napoli really more of a fly ball hitter. If you can get one on the ground, double play guy. And 95 low in the zone evens things up.
Careful on the inner half with this guy. He's a bail and whale guy. He steps in the bucket. He's got that big time home run uppercut. And he's thinking one thing right now, 8-7. He won't get cheated if he gets another heater in.
That one away from him enough. And Thornton actually took a little bit off. That was 89. Nissan to track it.
A little changeup right there for Matt Thornton. Usually fastball slider because he's facing lefties, but he dropped a nice changeup in there to Napoli.
Well, what an equalizer that is against a big right-handed power guy. Big pitches in the game. This next 1 or 2. And a ball hacked into right. Hanley Ramirez tagging. Harper wants to keep one runner from moving up. He does. Hitting the cutoff man. It'll be 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Bryce continues to play under control in the outfield.
Such knowledgeable fans here at Fenway Park. Just a simple fly ball to right with nobody out. Advances the runner to 3rd base with 1 out. And Mike Napoli gets a nice standing ovation going back to the dugout. They know their baseball here, boy.
Another power guy coming in to pinch hit for Nava here as they go right-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher, and that's Alan Craig. Craig has never hit against Matt Thornton before.
I think you're going to Blake Trinan right now.
Yeah, Blake didn't take long to warm up, did he? So move, counter move here. And now you have to say Alan Craig has his hands full. Ed Williams going to Blake Trinan, who had just popped up in the right field bullpen. In fact, I was surprised when I saw the attendant out there open the gate, and here came Blake facing Alan Craig. They faced each other before. Craig has a single and a ground out against him. Both balls hit on the ground. Power matchup here, and a tough matchup for any right-handed batter. And that hits Alan Craig, and the bases are loaded. That's the third hit batter by the Nationals tonight. And two Nats were hit by Justin Masterson.
Well, Matt Williams got the matchup he wanted with Craig in there, because he's a guy that likes to get inside the ball and go the other way. He liked the sinker coming in. Well, it came too far in. And you wonder if Blake Trinan is really hot enough yet.
Trinan pitched a couple of days in a row. And the last time he pitched, second consecutive day, didn't go well for him in the 8th inning. Saturday night in Philly with 2 runs on 4 hits. Nats lost that game in extra innings 3-2. So he should be rested. But is he hot? Hannigan 1 for 3 RBI single. A tapper. There's a play at home. Trinan throws it away. 2 runs will score. He didn't have to hurry. There was no chance for a double play.
Boy, he had the hard part out of the way. He made the pitch. A little tapper back to him. He couldn't get out of his glove, and then he panics. And I think that's what you get when you have inexperience in late innings. Not so much the pitch itself, but everything that's going on around you in Fenway Park. And we've seen it with the young Nats here in this atmosphere. Trinan dropped it, panicked, threw it away. And 7s are wild.
Infield in. Brock Holt, the batter, taps one to short, and Desmond decides not to go home, and I think that was the right decision. RBI for Holt. And it's now 8-7 Red Sox.
Let's see if he had a chance. Contact play. And Craig screaming down the line. And Desmond checks right here. I don't think he had a chance. You got to really charge that ball if you're going to go to home.
The Nats have now given up 10 unearned runs in 8 games, including all 3 right here.
Right when you thought Halloween was over, it rears its ugly head again. And this series has been Halloween for the Nats on defense.
I'm waiting to see whether they put 2 errors up on the board or 3. You could give Trinan 2 errors on that play, and they did. 1 for the drop, first runner, 1 for the throw, second runner. And a tapper. He'll go to first on this one. And Ryan Zimmerman has to reach and grab that. Well, we talk about Fenway flies to the Green Monster. A lot of Fenway errors. On Masson, brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code Dugout for free entry. And by visitannapolis.org, find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. Yawkey Way, Green Monster, Fenway Park. And the Nats just gave away 3 runs. Freight, Rail Works, due up. Top of the 8th inning. This ball game a mile from being over. What they've done tonight, middle infield's been great. Edward Mujica still out there. Danny Espinosa leads off. Alan Craig stays into play left field.
Well, 2014 Nats were resilient. They were good at picking themselves up.
Offense trying to muster something against the bullpen. Ogando and Mujica have retired 7 straight since the Taylor 2-run triple 5th inning.
I mean, should Blake Tryon have made that play? Absolutely. But that's the obvious thing in that inning. You can't put 3 free base runners on against a team like the Boston Red Sox and expect to have a Houdini act and get away with it with nobody scoring. It's just not going to happen.
Those 3 runs on no hits.
I mean, you're hoping at that point, if you're Matt Williams, that you're going to get out of it based on you got your horse in there and Blake Tryon throwing 98. But that inning was made by an error and 2 hit by pitches and 3 free base runners. I mean, you make that first play, you never know, because now you got a base runner, you're down by 2, and everybody in the first base dugout goes, "Here we come, boys! Here we come!" They're giving us a chance, and then there's life on the other side that wouldn't have been there had that play been made.
Espinosa late with that. And the Red Sox bullpen is shutting things down here. The Nats have 5 outs to go. Pitching change coming. And that looks like Koji Uehara, who has just been reactivated, coming back from a left hamstring pull. No, that's going to be Junichi Tozawa. My mistake. And here he comes for the second time. We join you. Gio Gonzalez goes against former National Leaguer Wade Miley. So the lefties will rule tomorrow. There's Miley, 38-35 career, 1-2 in 5 career starts against the Nats with a low ERA. Gio, 3-1 career against the Red Sox in 6 starts. Johnny and Ray at 1 o'clock with Nats Extra. Dan Colco, Aaron Barrett inside the Green Monster during that show. We'll join you from the booth at 1:30. Tozawa, 9th inning last night, struck out Reed Johnson, Clint Robinson, Ian Desmond, walked Ryan Zimmerman, and Michael A. Taylor seasoned for the first time.
Yeah, splits the out pitch. He throws it 33% of the time. Usually with 2 strikes, but he's got a good fastball at 94. But he loves the split. He'll throw it any time.
A little hesitation we talked about yesterday. Taylor, 2 hits, 3 RBIs, a stolen base this evening.
He's flirting with that inside half to Taylor and a short porch to left. Going away right here.
And Taylor pops it straight up on the right side. Napoli takes control and ends up making a running one-handed catch.
Celebrate opening weekend with the Carolina League's defending Mills Cup champion, Potomac Nationals. That's through the 15th. For all your ticket and promotional information, call 703-590-2311 or go to PotomacNationals.com.
Top of the order, Yunel Escobar. He's faced Tazawa 8 times, 3 hits, 2 doubles. That one a good 5 feet in front of home plate, bouncing. .93 to the outside edge.
Well, you see what he's doing right here. He's making Escobar beat him to the big part of the park.
Wow, that hasn't been a strike all night. Now it is, huh? Very bottom of the box.
That was a good pitch. That's right where he wanted it. Well, if you're hitting right now, you're seeing the split isn't even close to a strike. So if you can pick up the rotation, which is a lot like a knuckleball, you'll see a lot of seams on it as a hitter. Kind of tumbles in there. You're just totally disregarding it. Right now, you're sitting fastball, and that's all you're thinking about. He hasn't shown you can throw that first strike.
8-7 Red Sox. Nats down to 4 outs. Escobar 1 for 4 tonight. And he jacks one to left. It's hooking away from Alan Craig. He'll try to hold him to a single, and he will. And now, way off the bag, Escobar had to scramble back. He's 2 for 5.
That's exactly what he did. 2-1, all in with the fastball. Knew he wasn't going to throw a split. And a lot of times with Tazawa, you're not sure, even though you're ahead in the count, you're going to get a fastball. And a nice play by Craig and Wright. I'll tell you what. If Brock Holt came up throwing to first base, Yunel Escobar was halfway to second. He had him easy. It's all he had to do is turn and throw right here. He had the ball right about there. But there was no communication, and he didn't know. Had his back to the play.
Jason Worth 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. Hit the ball extremely hard to the left center gap first time. Mookie Betts ran it down.
Well, if you're Yunel Escobar at first base, you're looking for that split in the dirt. And if you're Jason Worth, same way, fastball, nothing else.
Worth facing Tazawa for the first time ever.
And I don't think Hannigan has enough confidence to call that split with the tying run on first base with 2 outs. He's seen 3 in the dirt already.
There it is. Secondary lead, Escobar, second base easily on the wild pitch.
I can't believe they even called it. I mean, but they're stuck. You know, you can't just throw a 1-0 fastball to Jason Worth and not expect it to be maybe a 9-8 game. But there it is again. He hasn't thrown one that's gotten to Ryan Hannigan yet. Ball in the dirt. Escobar ready. Tying run in scoring position. Game on. And Jason Worth's going to get something to hit with Bryce Harper on deck. You'd think. Although they have a lefty out there ready to rock. Is that Craig Breslow loose in the bullpen? Or it could be Robbie Ross Jr. They have 2 lefties. I can't see that far.
It's far.
It is far.
He throws a breaking ball that drops in at 77. That is Robbie Ross Jr.
And he is for Bryce Harper, should this inning get to him.
Two-one pitch, and Worth spits on it, way outside.
Well, a tendency here in this count for Jason Worth to get real big and think about a lead. But when he's at his best and he's ahead in the count, he goes to right center.
Breaking ball, that thing was hanging, and Worth just got over the top of it.
A little quick, he was geared up for a heater.
Tying run at second base, 3-2 to Worth. Another breaking ball that he's out in front of.
Well, typical Jason Worth at bat here. The more pitches he sees, the better he gets. And I'm watching Yunel Escobar at second base, and he is really working hard on his lead. He knows on a base hit to left that Bob Henley's sending him. And there's not a whole lot of room out there, so really crucial for the runner on second, Escobar, to get a big lead.
That's a called third strike on a breaking ball that gets away. He tripled up on the curveball to get Worth looking.
How many times you see that? He crossed up his catcher, Brian Hannigan. He called for a fastball. He threw up a breaking ball, and it was right down the middle. It fooled Jason Worth. It fooled Hannigan. And once again, something weird in 2015. Go back to the 8th inning and show you the plays that weren't made. Like I said before, if that play's made, well, there's no life in that Red Sox dugout. They just had a 6 spot put on him, and then the comebacker to Blake Trinan, and then a panic throw, and you had a tied ball game at that point. And they go on to take the lead.
7 pitches for Blake, 5 strikes. The one throw was really costly. The one that didn't go anywhere near home plate. Bottom 8, Pedroia, Ortiz, Ramirez. Hanley Ramirez, the only of those three who've ever faced Blake Treinen. And it's not like he came out throwing strikes at the start of the inning. Yeah, the error by Desmond was a killer, but he hit a batter and fell behind a couple of guys. That's above the belt. 96. 2 balls, 1 strike. Dustin Pedroia, 2 for 3, homer, base hit, walk. There's Koji Uehara, just off the DL, activated today. Right side, base hit. Is there a better number 2 hitter in baseball?
I mean, just a tough out. He's going to fight you every single at bat. You saw him the first 3 pitches kind of stepping out, taking a strike all the way. And as soon as Blake Treinen threw a strike, it was game on. Gets a fastball down the middle. The 2-strike mode, stays back. Lets it get deep. And a leadoff single for Pedroia here in the 8th.
Now David Ortiz. A single in 4 trips. That's bullpen. Quiet.
I think if you have 2 lefties, this is where you bring in your second one. But
yeah,
Matt Williams with only Matt Thornton down there. But I think he likes the sinker of Blake Treinen versus David Ortiz. They have a big shift on for a guy that throws 98 and the ball going away from Ortiz, however.
Pedroia's been known to steal a base. And you wonder if he's thinking what Mookie Betts was thinking yesterday with only 1 guy on the third base side, Ian Desmond. Ortiz takes a big rip. Breaking ball, 1 hopper. Espinosa, Desmond, 4-6-3.
Nice job of getting the ground ball, hitting right into the shift. Danny Espinosa being very deliberate because he knew David Ortiz was running. He had time. Ian Desmond threw this one low to Zimmerman. The 4-6-3 double play, 2 outs.
Hanley Ramirez, 1 for 3 career against Blake Treinen, who goes to the full windup now.
So Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, Clint Robinson due up in the 9th.
And a 1-1. That's the Treinen breaking ball low. And Ramirez, yeah, when he goes for the monster, everything's flying every which way.
Yeah, we tried to pull the fastball 97 that was outside. It's hard to do. Going with the slider. You see that approach, though? I mean, that's why he's such a tough out. His two-strike approach with his hands inside the baseball. It's tough to fool a guy that does that. We talked about it a lot yesterday. When you keep your hands inside, there's no real holes in your swing. He's just trying to hit something right now.
Yeah, that's certainly not his one-strike swing. Toyota K's for Kids. Every time the Nats pitchers strike out an opposing hitter, $37 to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, thanks to our Washington area Toyota dealers. Out to Danny Espinosa. Blake Trinan bounces back with a 3-batter 8th inning. Bryce Harper leads off in the 9th. He has a base hit tonight. Couple of home runs on the year. Almost had one here yesterday. 3-4-5 with Zimmerman and the DH Robinson to follow. And Zimmerman, Clint Robinson to follow. Nationals down by a run. Tune in tonight following Nats Extra. Masson presents National Pastime Baseball's return to Washington. It's an hour-long special celebrating 10 years. Interviews Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Lerner, former Mayor Anthony Williams, Charlie Brockman, our great friend, longtime PA announcer, Washington Post columnist Tom Boswell, and many others. Premieres tonight after Nats Extra. Re-airs tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Masson. Koji Uehara off the DL today. Last 2 years combined, 47 saves for the Red Sox. And they do not have a save out of their bullpen yet.
Yeah, 2 pitches basically. Fastball split, and he throws them equal, about 50-50.
Bryce Harper facing him for the first time. Ramirez even with the bag at third. Change up. Is that the split?
That's the split.
79 diving. Harper will have enough to get this out of play.
Another split, 79. I don't think he's even going to flirt with a fastball here. He might try to climb the ladder and throw one higher than high, meaning face high to Bryce, and then go back to the split, or he could just triple up.
Whoa, that was close. Jim Reynolds, a little body English. I thought he was about to stand up and raise the right arm. Good call, as it turns out.
It says split on the scoreboard, but I swear that was a fastball at 80.
Didn't go down a lot. Nice, a good take, 2-2.
He's thinking fastball or split.
See ball, hit ball if you can. 1 out.
All splits. I mean, how do you face a guy like this? What's the game plan? You see the grip in his glove. You just look for the ball around your belt or higher. If it starts anywhere below your belt, it's going to drop out of the strike zone. Very easy to say up here, hard to do down there. But you have to elevate this guy. If it starts low, it's going to be a ball.
Ryan Zimmerman is 1 for 2 career against him with a base on balls. And a long ball to left, moving to the left, and it is foul.
Wow.
Not that far to the left of the pole.
Wow. And no argument from Ryan. Where we're sitting, this was close, folks. You got a hanger, just cut it out front. You see the body language. He's trying to wish it fair. And
Ed Williams is coming out.
And that's foul. And he's got nothing to lose right here, so he's going to check it. Not a bad move, but
this won't take long.
Ryan would be going nuts. As calm as Ryan Zimmerman is, he would be flipping out right now if that ball was fair. Just his demeanor is all we needed to know, even before the replay. He could have done a little better, Carlton Fisk. I'm going to tell him that tomorrow.
I had that thought when the ball was in the air.
Here it is again.
You know, it's possible for a ball to fly over the top of the pole, but it was just so far left. Didn't really flirt with that.
Or if they change it.
Foul ball.
I think if I read Ryan Zimmerman's lips right there, he said worth a shot. This home plate umpire Jim Reynolds ran by him.
He would say that. (8-7) Red Sox. No balls, 2 strikes. And Zimmerman trying to drop one into left center, but they play so shallow here, no chance. Alan Craig, 2 outs.
I always thought this was a tricky situation for a closer in this ballpark with a power hitting lefty up in a 1-run game. Because if you throw him away here, lefties could go opposite field. If you throw him in here, you have the pesky pole down the right field line. I guess you just throw splits for days, because that's what this guy does.
Well, it looks like Clint Robinson's going to have to supply all the power for anything like that to happen. Count's even 1-1.
Starts low, let her go.
Over 35,000 here tonight. Standing. Red Sox trying to go 6-2. the game is over. The Red Sox have won the series, and the Nats will try to salvage one tomorrow. The difference in the ball game, a brutal defensive 7th inning that cost the Nationals 3 runs without the Red Sox getting a base hit. Back with more in a moment. Uehara back, and they've got their first save of the year.